funny who he is and what he's been doing, but it's basically AI military, and they signed some really huge contracts with the U.S. government. The guy's very well connected with Trump, and that's one of the reasons why. Also, he actually helped fund him to get elected. So regardless of politics, whatever, it's obviously it's doing pretty well. But there's just one of several of them that made some big moves. I know Google's come out earnings after the close. But, I want your take on one stock. What do you think of Reddit, RDDT?
RDDT?
Yeah, Reddit.
Never traded this before, but I'll look at it.
It's a new IPO. It came out too long ago. But
unless you're going to hold that PLTR thing like for the rest of the year.
Am I going to hold it the next year? The reason why the only reason why I don't know yet. Like we trade.
I think you got to decide, because again, if you like it, just hold it and don't look at it and just stay with it, no matter what it does. If you otherwise, again, it just had earnings. It had a nice pop. You're up. You could get out. If it drops, you get back into it. I think that's a good exit today, unless you're just like, oh, I don't care where it goes. I'm going to hold it to 2026.
The only disadvantage about being a day trader is we're so damn conservative. We always want to take the money off the table. And sometimes, because you've been around the block as long as I have, anything could drop. There's no guarantee. And sometimes when things drop that much, that big, you're always going to get some type of a retrace, But the Reddit trade, this thing's been constantly breaking new highs over and over. Book all-time highs. Had great earnings in November at $80. Things already at $215, and it just has not turned back.
Yeah, I usually don't like to do things that have less than a 12-month history. This is almost there, April 2024. But it's strong. It's strong. I don't know where you're in this. I mean, this looks fine if you're in it.
Yeah, we own it between 160 and 180, but it's breaking all-time highs.
Yeah, I mean, again, it's so hard to say. Like anything could fall anywhere at this point. So you could have the best price in the world in this and the other one. Like, do you know what I'm saying? Like, you could have the best price in the world, but because anything could happen, it doesn't matter. So that's why you still have to know how long you're going to hold something, even if you're in a swing trade, in my opinion. I actually don't do swing trades. So I'm doing short-term options out for a week or two, or I'm doing the day trades. And then I have my retirement account. But I think you almost have to swing trading. I think this year in 2025 is going to be very challenging for people, because you're going to think that everything's great. The chart looks great. You're up. Everything's wonderful. Everything's fine. And then you're going to have a gap down in the market like we had Monday. You're going to be upside down in the trade. You essentially have no stop. You could be still up, but up less. You could be down. You could be down a lot. People could get margin calls. Like, again, if you don't have a trending market, which we don't have right now.
We don't.
A trending market. I don't even care if you're short something overnight. It's hard to get the nice momentum and the flush, because everybody's too on the fence. People are wondering what's going to happen. We're worried about this. We're worried about tariffs. We're worried about rates. Again, they could come out and say that they're going to raise rates. That could happen. I mean, you were talking about the unemployment numbers. I think California is going to affect the unemployment numbers. What happened to the wreckage in California with those fires is going to be more a bigger part of what you'll see with the unemployment numbers this year than even what's happening in DC. But as far as, even still, you could have them decide this year to not lower rates at all, which the market wouldn't like, or even at some point they could raise rates. So that would affect the market too. And that would affect the market probably in a negative way. So I think it's going to be a tough year to do swing trades. I'm not saying don't hold anything overnight. I'm saying you should know where you're going with something, or just walk away and be okay with it. And even if the trade's down, say, I don't care. I'm not going to double down on it. I'm not going to add to it. I like it. I'm going to hold it out for the next 12 to 24 months or whatever you decide, because you really, really love it. Again, if you're in a position and you're not on margin and you're in cash, that's just how, like, again, I'm talking about retirement account. You just have to look at it like that and say, I'm long this thing. I don't care where it goes. It's going to whatever,
10 years from now.
Yeah. And just say, like, whatever. I mean, this is trying to hang on today in this gap, but whether this gets any more traction here in the short term, I think it needs the market, and the market's a question mark. It's a question mark right now.
So regarding about your day trading, because I do a lot of day trade, how do you find your day trades? What are you basically doing, more or less?
You can find them anywhere. I mean, you can find them. You can find them. I mean, there's a million places. Again, I used to pay for our scanner. I mean, you could just turn on Fox Business in the morning or CNBC, and they're talking about what earnings are out. Again, PayPal was earnings, this morning. So again, I'm not saying everything we do is earnings, but most of the stocks that we do that I look at are based on earnings. And again, I prefer to short. Here's the other one that I like today. Now, this was not earnings, this was news. But again, even news they talk about on CNBC and everything as well. This had a nice sell-off this morning, Marvell.
Oh, Marvell.
So this went beautifully here. Open here at 107, rallied up to 109.50, fell all the way down, almost got to 105. So this in here, you could have got, you could have got it that right in there. You could have got $3-4. So that was a nice, again, I try to focus on the fast trades, the quick trades. But this was not earnings. This was news. So, I mean, it's not hard to find stocks that are gapping, but I qualify the gap to try to figure out, is it going to continue in the direction? So I'm only doing something in the direction of the gap. And then if I don't get the rating, then I don't do it at all. So I have a 26-point rating system. If I rate the gap and it rates 20 points or more, I take it in the direction of the gap, whether bullish or bearish, but I prefer to short. I have been going long though. I mean, it's been one of these times where in the last 3 to 4 months since the election in November, before all the scuttlebutt with the tariffs, we did have some beautiful rallies. You were talking about the big stocks, and we had some beautiful moves up that you could have held. You could have done options, and we did some day trades and some things that were long. But I prefer to short because stocks drop faster than they rally. But you can find gaps anywhere. But I'm never going against the direction of the gap. But
are you trading Bitcoins or anything like that? And
No, I don't do anything like that. I mean, again, I just focus on exactly what I do. I'm very just exactly trying to hit a bullseye every single day, and just that's it. And then again, over time, I've added, I've sized up in my trades to make more money, but I really don't feel the need to do anything else, really. I mean, it's hard to be good at everything. You can't really, you know what I mean? And there's too much going on, too much you need to pay attention to, even with the things that I do. So again, I find it better to be focused and to hone down and get good just at one thing. I realized very early on that was the case. And then I just never veered off of that, and pretty much been doing the same thing, like I said, for 17 years.
So your style more or less is like, you're a little bit like me. I day trade. I just work off the big percentage gainers and losers, see what the actions of the stocks that are moving in there. You follow what's on the news, you see what's going on, and you just basically just trading those gaps. And if you can, and you like to short more than anything, because I like to short too, because whatever goes up comes down twice as fast. It's just more money to make going short than long.